Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Merry Christmas to everybody. And just a heads up to people, Nashville tried to do the saddest white Christmas that has ever been done. But we do have a little snow on the ground in Nashville. And that is a nice going away present for me and my wife, and the palatial Central Florida studios that we'll be going to will probably not have a white Christmas. Their snowfall potential is not very good. In fact, last night when it was so cold, it got down to 33. That was the shock cold in Central Florida. It got down to 33. Merry Christmas to everybody. Seriously, I hope everybody's being safe on the road today and doing all the things that they enjoy for Christmas. I'm doing this podcast because I want to do this podcast. I enjoy doing it. I don't want to take days off. There might be reasons that I have to, but I don't want to. And today we're going to go over the plan. Y'all have waited patiently for months now. The audience is growing, and you deserve to know what the plan is. And this is the plan. And this is the plan for when we go fully live in April-ish. So whenever we get to that, just know it's a pretty good plan. All right, my name is Stephen Willis. This is the POMcast on the Positively Ole Miss Network. Thank you for listening. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at the Stephen Willis or at Ole Positively. You can catch us on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast. Join our Facebook group at Positively Ole Miss. You can catch us on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. Hit the bell for notifications. They'll help you when we start streaming here in a couple of months. And of course, we're on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss, all one word. That's our Twitch channel. So there's different pluses and minuses for each way to take in the video portion of the podcast. Twitter is just kind of like a in-your-face reminder, and it's a good place to do that and us like breaking news at the same time. If that's your bag, Twitter's your thing. Facebook is for people that's a little bit more engaged socially online, but it's going to come to you as well. We're not going to break things. Twitter is our social media of choice, by the way. YouTube is a comprehensive video platform. It has the POMcast around the SEC, on-demand 2020 games, Ole Miss great games, all the Lane Kiffin press conferences, all the Kerman Davis press conferences. We're going to set it up to do all the Mike Bianco press conferences. It's more comprehensive for people who want an immersive experience. And Twitch, the videos stay up for 2 weeks at a time and then it cycles out. It's just a way for you to watch it because you're already watching gaming platforms and things like that. That's the video we're on at the moment. On Twitter, obviously we're on Periscope, but you know what I mean. But we also offer an audio podcast as well. And that audio podcast, we are on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. Those are the major ones. And we're also on a bunch of minor podcatchers as well. So if you could watch it, if you could share it when it comes out, I'd appreciate that. Just for advertising purposes. If you like it, share it. If you like it, leave a review, 5-star. Doesn't matter what you say. So that's what we're currently on and what we're currently doing. And right now we're currently an audio-only podcast. So you're wondering probably why we're on so many video platforms. Well, the point is we're going to be a video, for lack of a better word, POMcast. And in that video POMcast, we need those video sources. And we want it to resemble a 30-minute TV show. We want to be mindful of your time because we know you're busy, but we want it to be long enough to handle going out for a run or something like that. You can just put it on and listen to the POMcast and do what you need to do. And that's kind of our goal for the length. We want it to remain short. And we're also, once it breaks on the YouTube channel, we're going to do videos on uniforms. We're going to do videos on mascots, stuff that would be important to fans that media can't be bothered to cover. Fans want to know it. Fans want to talk about it. Let's do it. And we'll do those in online YouTube-centric type videos. If you go look at Emergency Awesome, that's kind of the format on YouTube. We are looking forward to do those short form videos. We're going to do packages. We are going to immerse you in a depth chart and schedule and stats all on the screen at the same time. I mean, that's all something we can do. And we are about to, in the next month or so, about to invest about 20 grand in this program, in this enterprise, to get basically 4K cameras, 4K streamers, and we're going to basically set up the palatial Central Florida studio to do it. We actually got the paint required to do it this week. So it's pretty quick. And it's going to be a neat experience. When we come back in a little bit, we're going to tell you exactly what else is going to be available and what role we're going to fill. And tell you a little bit how to get stuff for free on these pay sites that is otherwise the most valuable content on the site. All right, I'm Stephen Willis, this is POMcast. Thanks for sticking around.
Only 10% of us get enough daily exercise.
And that number is dropping.
Nearly 30% of us are overweight or obese.
We spend 6 hours a day in front of a screen.
As a result, we now have a shorter life expectancy than our parents.
But give us the right start in sports, and we'll never stop.
Learn how at active4life.ca.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis from Positively Ole Miss. We're almost done with this break. We'll be back with good information quite soon.
The military has been in every generation of my family, and so has VA. It wasn't easy for my dad after Vietnam, but VA helped him and my mom get the home they'd always wanted. My grandpa's been coming to VA since World War II. They even helped him lay to rest one of his battle buddies from Normandy. And me, I followed in their footsteps and served with pride. And now that I'm out of the military, the GI Bill's helping me with school. Every generation of my family has served, and VA has served us all.
Welcome back, Stephen Willis, the POMcast, right here on Positively Ole Miss. I appreciate you tuning in on this special Christmas morning edition of the POMcast. And the saddest white Christmas ever happened in Nashville last night. But at least it happened. It was a little reminder to me before I get down to the heat. But we're going to tell you a little bit what we're doing. This whole thing is about what we're doing. And we are going to take the stuff that they use for free to bring you in and use them as ancillary platforms, important platforms for Positively Ole Miss, meaning you don't need it. What we want to do is make it where you can follow us and all of the free stuff on the pay sites and have more than enough to survive. Basically, all you're giving up is the message board and the opinion content of a couple of journalists that are basically not much better than Steve Robertson. So that's that plan. And we will take it and you will have the player rankings, the team rankings, the crystal balls, the commit list. All of that stuff will be available for free. And we're going to incorporate it with what we're doing. I plan on us using the composite rankings from 247 Sports because that goes in and averages together the 247, ESPN, and Rivals rankings and soon to be SI rankings. So that is the ranking that is out there now. Don't let them tell you otherwise. That is the ranking. Just because Rivals didn't think to do something like that when all this started, before the composite took off, that's not 247's fault. That's Rivals for being chaos. And I know it was chaos because I was there. I spent a decade in there. I know exactly what was going on at Rivals.com. And I know exactly how certain people got their jobs there. And that's another reason we're doing something like this, because we're just tired of all the cynical reporting and the trying to get you pissed off so that whenever something happens, a meltdown can ensue and you can sell off of that meltdown. Money is just too close to content, and even people with degrees from Ole Miss, they are buying into this as a way to make money. They're willing to sell out their university as an avenue to make money. Now, this is an avenue for people that are just tired of that. The whole attendance problem in college football, it is this. It is access to content. We finally got to the age where young people are buying or not buying tickets, and it's after the paywall came into existence. That's the access problem in college football. That's the attendance problem. If this keeps up, it will end college athletics. So, if you like college athletics and you are against cynical reporting that is actually not factual, you're in the right place. Because this what we're going to do. We're going to try and cover Ole Miss straight. And you can go back and listen to a ton of my stuff. Nobody out there is harder on Matt Corral after one of his disaster games this year than me. Doesn't mean I necessarily want another quarterback. I just want what's best for the program. And we'll talk about Matt Corral and how his floor needs to raise up and where his bad games next year need to look like Auburn, to where these LSU and Arkansas games is not necessarily the path. But 1 out of 4.5 games is too high of a ratio for having disaster games like that. We got to get that fixed. And they will. I mean, there was no spring practice. There's not really any fall camp. I mean, this has been a process. But we'll see in 2021 when the lights go on at the Georgia Dome. I figure, heck, everybody should be vaccinated by then and everything should be opened up. I don't know why people would choose not to get vaccinated to not open up stuff, but there are some people that will do that. And we're just ready to roll. So that's a little bit the negative reporting. And because negative reporting is how they can make money, you can either sell on two things, elation or anger. Now at Ole Miss, what have they been selling on? Exactly. So it just builds into a culture of negativity. Now, a lot of you can see through it. I mean, there's not that many subscribers to those sites compared to even a home game. There's not that many. What we want is for people that are interested in following Ole Miss that aren't interested in their peddled rumor drama BS, that just wants to know what's going on. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to have an Oxford correspondent. Chris Thrasher has already taken that. He will start in January. And that's going to be cool. And we're going to talk about the goings on around Oxford, and he's going to meet people and cultivate information and do the things that he needs to do. And that's going to help us a little bit for people that want to use the excuse that they're in Oxford and Positively Ole Miss is not. I mean, most of the stuff is going to happen on Zoom calls, but we are going to have somebody in Oxford. We're going to have an Oxford correspondent. And we're going to try and find a recruiting correspondent. We are going to try and find a uniform correspondent. And we want to grow this as it goes on, because that way we can have them on the regular POMcast, or we can have the 10-minute series based on uniforms. We can do whatever we want to do. And us doing things that others do not want to do, that they look down on because they're not fans and don't understand what fans want, that's their problem. We're going to do things the way that we think they need to be done. We're not going to ask you for money. We're just going to provide a free avenue for you to follow Ole Miss. There's comments in Twitter. There's comments in Twitch. There's comments in YouTube. And there's comments in Facebook. And you know what? We're going to be able to place those online. You'll be able to see the comments. We'll create a stream with a hashtag, which is, for this show, will probably be POMcast. I can search those, put those questions online. So every episode, basically a segment of every episode, can turn into a mailbag. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We're planning on doing an early signing day program next year. That could be 2 or 3 hours long. Start in the morning, and we can just talk. But you can be here when the news breaks, when the players sign. We're going to put their huddle highlights up. We're going to do all that we need to do. But I have time to do all this stuff because I'm not necessarily having to spend it doing other stuff. I have time, I have money, I have resources. It's not like I'm trying to make money. I'm just trying to keep the lights on. And I want to do this for 15, 20 years. I mean, that's the idea of where we are. I mean, that's the actual plan, is 15 years down the road, I want to still be doing this. 20 years down the road, I still want to be doing this. This isn't a short-term thing. This is an active fight back in the Ole Miss market against negative yellow journalism, basically. Giving you an option that is just the opposite of where others have gone. And they're not going to change because they need it to make money. They're not going to suddenly cover these things because those things don't make money. They're going to cover the way they're going to cover because that is the way they make money. if you take money out of the equation, you have the ability to cover it the correct way without bias that money brings. If you are covering stories because it makes you money, it is a biased product you are peddling from the beginning. Period. You can't put money that close to content and expect no bias to come out. And it is sickening what the media has become today, and it has become that way because of money being that close to content. Used to, back in the day, you'd have 4 or 5 layers in between money and the content. Now it's one layer. The same person in some cases sells advertising for the content that they are writing. If there is an advertisement on a story, there's a good chance the person writing it sold it. And they also have the contact information if they don't like what is being written. So it provides for essentially corruption in the system. And now you end up with what we have. Writing stories to you, outright lying to you. I mean, one of them even brags that they put a fake name in a hot board just to get another journalist's goat. And you were basically the victim in all that. If you can't believe one piece of content, you can't believe in any of it. And that's the truth. They know you will lie, then how do you know it's not a lie? Anyway, segment 3 coming up. We'll go over advertising right after this break.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already! Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive. A message from Florida's trusted choice independent insurance agents.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis. I just want you to stick around a little longer. We're going to get back to the podcast right after these messages.
Tonight, nearly 40,000 veterans across the country are homeless. These men and women have pledged to serve our nation, and now we must serve them. Landlords across the country have helped make significant progress in reducing veteran homelessness by making housing available, but there is more that we can do to bring our veterans home. Visit www.va.gov/homeless to see how you can get involved. And if you are a veteran and you are experiencing homelessness, please call 877-4AID-VET. Thank you.
All right, POMcast, last segment of the day. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope everybody is being safe and having the day that we all hoped we would have. But right here in the saddest white Christmas in the history of the world in Nashville, Tennessee, we're having a good time as well. So good morning, and I hope everybody is having a ton of fun. Advertising for the POMcast. We are going to advertise. Like I said, we want to keep the lights on. We don't want to get rich off the product, but we do want to keep the lights on so we can make this a cost-neutral proposition for us. And in the advertisement, we're going to go insanely low, like $50 a month low. We're going to sell on volume. We are going to hopefully do 10, 15, 20 ads in a POMcast, for instance. That's the goal for $50 a month. I mean, for an episode that comes out to be about the price of a Big Mac. I mean, we are going extreme lowball on this thing, and we're doing it intentionally. Because, I mean, that's about what all this is worth. You can snow somebody over to think something is worth more, but it's about worth that. It's about $50 a month for the POMcast. And we're also going to, do the guest line. We might put some graphics up on the screen of the ads. We might do a ton of stuff. But none of those will be very expensive, and Ole Miss will remain being easy to follow. But we're going to sell in order to keep the lights on. So the price may go up after the first year, but the first year at $50 a month, it's supposed to be, hey, we're a little guy, we're growing, you want to grow with us type thing. And it's an annual contract. But that's the way we're looking at advertising at the moment. Now, it could grow to where the, Timeout Sports Lounge in Philadelphia, Mississippi, the sports books down there, just buys a segment. And we put an expert on there and we talk about football and they promote their games. Turns into a 7-minute commercial for them. And that's fine. That's something we are willing to look into. But the main thing, the entry-level price for advertisement is about $50 a month or about the price of a Big Mac per day. So it's going to be really cool and provide things that businesses want. Because remember, this year, small businesses have been hit hard by coronavirus. And they don't have a ton of expendable income. Well, this is going to provide them a way to advertise their product and for a low price and still get the advertising they need. So that's pretty cool as well. And my puppy dog's pacing, if y'all can hear that. But this all is going to be really cool, and it's really all for you. I mean, it really is. It wants to provide a way to give a positive experience in following Ole Miss football. We're called Positively Ole Miss. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. That was my wife. And we want to provide a positive experience. That's the reason we're called Positively Ole Miss. And that is going to be the way forward for this. We're not going to peddle in drama. We're not going to peddle in rumors that aren't true. It's why those guys have basically a reputation of a weatherman, and you don't expect them to be right. They don't expect them to be right. They just are wrong and they blame somebody else and they go on about their business. And you're the ones holding the bag because you thought this was a real thing all along. It happens all the time. There's some story that is supposed to happen in the rumor grapevine that goes away. It doesn't happen at the last minute and they blame something else for it not happening. Well, the odds are it didn't happen. They just made the whole thing up. It's a game of telephone because their sources are boosters. And it relies on them being correct for their sources. Now, since the athletic department and the football coaching staff has gone completely silent, there's no real accurate sources out there. Just remember that. They were being spoon-fed from the staff before. They're not at the moment. And as a result, they're wrong quite a lot. So don't take what they're saying at face value. Don't take what they're hearing at face value. Take everything with a grain of salt, like some rumor you heard from some idiot at Handy Andy's. Because that's about all they're good for at this point. And they rely on your credibility that you give away. Be cynical. Be skeptical to what they're saying. That's the best way to do this. And in the end, that's the way we're going to make it through this. Because we can't have what's happened in the last 10 years to the media just infect Ole Miss athletics as well. We need to do what we can to stop that. And You know the problem. Money that close to content. You know, money, as they say, is the root of all evil. So, Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope everybody's having a great day. I'm Stephen Willis. There might or might not be a show next week. It all depends on whether or not they can push a signal enough to get me out. If they can, I'm going to do it. If they can't, I'm not. Take care, everybody.